Hello everyone, Scott Hall over here at Dodd Hicks Field, a place where I have spent a lot of time and a lot of great times. And as the great Marv Levy, head coach, Pro Football Hall of Famer, used to say to his players, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? And on a lot of game days, there was nowhere else I'd rather be than right here at that moment. But Sam Cooke also once said, a change is gonna come. And well, for me, that time for a change is now, as I am leaving Marshall University. I came here all the way back in the fall of 2000 as a student, and then got started as a student broadcaster, and then moved my way into Marshall athletics with the Marshall softball team back in the fall of 2003. That's right, it has been a long time. But big thank you to head coach Shonda Stanton for taking a chance on a skinny broadcaster who just needed a change of scenery, who needed to try something new. And Coach, you took care of me so well over all of those years that you were here. I'm glad that you have been able to move on and doing great things at Indiana University. But again, thank you so much. You meant so much to me. Thank you to as well Joe Stanton, your husband, and your kids, Shayla, Gianna, and Josiah. It was great getting to know all of you throughout the years and spending time, as again, spent a lot of time over here at this field and even beginning over at the old field, which used to be on campus. And you know, a big thank you to that first team as well, all the way back in 2004, because they welcomed me in like I was family right from the start. You know, they didn't kind of give me weird looks questioning why is this guy here. If they did that, they were able to keep that to themselves, and I do appreciate that. But no, they did treat me like family. And I remember at the end of that first season, senior day, 3 seniors on that team, Sierra Davenport, Sarah Chamberlain, and Sarah Wilson. And I remember they each came up to me when we were all gathered together, you know, eating, chatting, whatever, after the games. And they all said, so are you gonna come back with the team next year? And my answer was the same to all 3 of them. I said, well, if Coach Stanton wants me back. They all gave me this big grin and they said, oh, you'll be back. I just didn't know I'd be back this many times. But another thank you to somebody who was with that first team, Brandon Twiss, who was an assistant coach. He was my first roommate on the road. And you know, thank you for your patience, showing me the ropes during those couple of years together in 04 and 05, answering all of my questions about the game. In fact, some of those questions probably made you think, wow, this guy has a lot to learn. But thank you, Coach Twiss. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot from you over that time. And also, so that 2004 MUSB team is where I got my start in Marshall athletics. And with this team, I started as a student manager, moved to a graduate manager, director of operations, volunteer coach even for a couple of seasons, and then finally as sports information director. And that's where I have been these last 7 years. Now, I miss the days of being at practice every day. I really do miss it. I miss throwing front toss. I miss just throwing with the players. I miss hitting fun go, catching for the infield, catching for the outfield, running around like a fool out there in that outfield with my glove, especially at times when we were doing drills that I was the only one who could go out there and, you know, shag fly balls or anything. But just running around trying to catch anything and everything I could to the point where I was basically at near exhaustion. Sit down on that turf, and then when the next player would come up, get up and go do it all over again. I miss those days. And I even miss the days of being in the bullpen. I know you can't really see the main bullpen from this angle, but I actually miss those days, being back there with the pitchers. I actually really learned a lot while I was back there. I do miss that. And I even miss babysitting study hall. You know, I read a lot of books in those days and got to know so many of the players just a little bit more. You know, it was tedious, but we had some fun with that. We did. To the team's current head coach, Megan Smith-Lyon, thank you for welcoming me into your program and allowing this old MUSB veteran to stick around for just a little bit longer. When it was senior day this year, but you still also celebrated the fact that I was coming up on my 1,000th game with this team on April 30th, you know, right here at this field before playing UTEP. Thank you very much for that. It's something I will remember forever. The gift from you, the gifts from the players as well. I'm always going to cherish that. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed all of those videos that I put together, especially all the ones that were for on game day, where you'd pick the song and I'd make the highlight video to go with it. And I had a lot of fun putting those together, so I hope you enjoyed all of those videos. I want to thank Jason Corrier for hiring me to be an SID all the way back in 2015. I didn't have much experience outside of just working with some SIDs while I was here with softball and also as a student broadcaster, but you brought me in and I jumped right in as well. And thank you to your wife Kim, your son Gaff as well. It's been so great knowing you all over these last 7 years. I hope you enjoy Tulane and down in New Orleans. But a quick story I've got to tell about Gaff. A football game a few years ago. Don't quite remember which one, but I remember I was not really in the best mood, feeling a lot of stress, a lot of pressure with both golfs going on, volleyball and men's soccer, and getting things ready for women's basketball, and then having to be over there at football. I was just not in a really good mood. Gaff came over and just sat next to me there in the press box and just started talking about anything and everything. And I remember Kim came over and she said, "Okay, Gaff, let's leave Scott alone." And I said, no, he's okay, he's fine. And we must sat there and talked for, I don't know, maybe about 30 minutes possibly. And I gotta say thank you, Gaff, because that actually put me in a much, much better mood throughout the rest of the day. So you really brightened up my day. Thank you for that. I've worked with some great people over in that office in Sports Info. Kyle Gibson, Carly Weisenbach, Wilbur DeLashmutt, Cody Lynn, Jack Bogacek, Steve Cotton, Chuck McGill, and so many great interns as well, like Patrick O'Leary, Kieran Intman, Abby Pritchard, Kyle Curley, Sydney Shelton, and so many more. Unfortunately, I'm sorry I can't name all of you. And a big special thank you to Corey Dietman. You taught me a lot, and I know I asked a lot of questions while you were here as well, whether it was InDesign or Photoshop. Thank you for your patience. Really, really learned a lot from you. And I've had the privilege too and the honor to work with some amazing coaches since joining in 2015, and again, not just with softball, men's golf, women's basketball, men's soccer, volleyball, and also helping when I could with women's soccer, football, men's basketball, swimming and diving, track and cross country, and tennis. Just thank you all. Really, really, really appreciate everything through all of that time. But to my teams, thank you to head coach Tony Kemper and the many coaches, staff, and players with the women's basketball team. Thank you for letting me tag along over these years when I got to travel with you all in November and December. Before then, Jason came back with you guys in January to start conference play. I got the chance to broadcast so many games with you all out on the road. Got to travel to some great places. Quick story with some traveling as well. Player that was with the team, she was a senior in 2020, Princess Clemens. Her first year, she came from a junior college, so her first year was 2018-19, and unfortunately in 2018, sorry Coach Kemper, we didn't win any games on the road when I was with the team in November and December. They did, once they got into conference play, they won some road games. And then in 2019, in the fall, when I was there again, started off unfortunately with some road losses. Well then, we were going to Indiana State. We got to the arena, this is the day before, and just going through the walkthrough and stuff, and Princess Clemens came up to me and she said, you haven't been with us for a road win. She goes, we're gonna get you that road win. We're gonna get you that road win tomorrow. And I said, okay. I said, I appreciate that. Yeah, let's do it. The very next day, Marshall won 72-60 over Indiana State. And I remember after the game, when I saw her, she looked at me, she said, hey, told you we were gonna get that win for you. And she did. So many great moments, and that's one I'm always gonna remember. To Matt Grobe and the men's golf team, thank you. I will miss working those home tournaments over at Guyan. They were always so much fun. Getting to be away from the office for 2 days, walking a golf course, the food was always great. But thank you again for taking care of me with those things. To Brooke Burkhammer and the women's golf team, thank you. You always gave me some exciting tournaments and some exciting players to write about. I really appreciate that. That always makes things a lot more fun with your job. And to Ari Agnes and the volleyball team, thank you so much for welcoming me in getting to know me a little bit more once you joined Marshall. And again, thank you so much for coming here to Marshall. I believe you're going to do some great things with this program, and especially with the assistant coaches that you have right now, and Charlie and Bijanet. Really believe what you all are doing. But again, I can't wait to see what you all are going to do, and I get to do it as a fan. So, but thank you again. And also to former assistant coaches, Danielle Morante and Jason Morris, thank you. It was great getting to know you two a little bit more when I got to come on that one road trip back in 2018. To Chris Grassi and men's soccer, it's been so much fun to see the growth of this team. So many exciting players to watch. I mean, you guys have been absolutely incredible. And, I couldn't be there for the national championship, unfortunately. But I got to tell you, I'm pretty sure I woke up the neighborhood when Jamil Roberts scored that game-winning goal against Indiana. I know it was getting late. It might have been about after 11 o'clock. I'm not sure. I just remember it was late, and I lost it. I went absolutely crazy in my apartment. Nobody made a noise complaint, which was probably good, but I know I went crazy. That was absolutely amazing to be able to watch that. It would have been great if I could have been there, but still, getting to watch you all do that was amazing. Thank you to Beatrice Crane Banford for being a trusted advisor and trusting me and allowing me to continue working with all of these teams over the years. And also a big thank you to one of your daughters who took the time to make this for me, really paint this out on a softball when I got my 1,000th game. I mean, you can tell really took some time to put this together, so thank you so much. This really means a lot to me. That is something I'm gonna take with me wherever I go. Again, thank you so much. Thank you to David Steele, who helped me get the Director of Operations job all the way back in 2008. Yeah, I know, long time ago. But also being a fan of my broadcast. Thank you very much, Mr. Steele. And a story with him, when we came back, softball, when we came back after winning the conference championship in 2013, there was some travel miscommunications that happened. And so we didn't get back here to the clubhouse here at Dot Hicks Field until after 3 o'clock in the morning. It might have been close to 4. And David Steele still walked in the door after we got back to say congratulations, and he was so happy for us. That was amazing. That was something I'll never forget. But also thank you to all of the other wonderful people over the years. I'm sorry, there's just so many to name, too numerous. I wish I could name you all, but we'd be here all day. That I worked with over the years in facilities, equipment, athletic training, marketing, and herd vision, past SIDs that I got to work with before it became my job. It was an absolute pleasure. And a special thank you to a former athletic trainer, Aaron Mangum, who took the time to listen to me when I talked to him about some headache problems that I was having with, back here with my head and my neck. He got me to see Dr. Rupp, who immediately started to try and see, okay, what can we do about this? Next thing I know, I'm going in for an MRI, and then I end up getting surgery, but it fixed my headaches. Thank you so much. I will never forget that. And Aaron also too, thank you for being with me in 2016 when Emily Cooper passed away. Sorry, that's still hard for me to talk about. Just being there for me, because every once in a while things got a little rough during that year in 2016. But I miss our conversations that we had all the time in the hotel, and especially that one prank that we played. You know what I'm talking about. And also to all the singing that we did together in the hotel. I know if you had stuck around for another year, you and I were going to be putting on little duet performances for the players, but yeah, unfortunately that didn't happen. You got to move on back to Louisville, which I know was a job that you were really looking forward to. But thank you again, Aaron. Thank you to the current athletic director, Christian Spears, for our conversations and for your support. I know you're going to do great things for Marshall, and I can't wait to see it happen. But over the years that I have been here with Marshall Athletics, I have been able to witness and write about so many great moments. And then, of course, there was the hardest release that I have ever had to write, and that was when Emily Cooper passed away, February 5th, 2016. That was a very difficult time, but for everybody else who was around, thank you for your support during that time, because that was pretty difficult. But big thank you to the Cooper family, Butch, Jody, Sharissa, Billy, Barron, Kalina, and so many others. I can't name all of you, but it's been so wonderful to have your support. especially over these last several years. I'd love to see you all around, love to continue to talk to you. We'll definitely stay in touch. And you know, as a broadcaster, I probably got the biggest compliment I could ever have coming from Butch, Emily's dad, when we were at the memorial service that Rio Grande was putting on, because she had been helping there as well after she had graduated from here. She was helping out at Rio Grande. And he came up to me after the service and he said, for Emily's funeral, he said, I want to end it with the call of Emily's walk-off that she had right here on this field back in 2015 against WKU and against the pitcher who went on to be the conference pitcher of the year, Miranda Kramer. She was really good, but he said, I want that call and I just want to hear it in your voice. and I told him, I was like, oh, I said, Butch, I can get you the call, but I didn't do it. And I saw the look on his face. I said, but don't worry. I said, James Collier called that game and he did an incredible job. I have already heard the call. Trust me. I said, I will get it to you. Don't worry. It'll still be great. But that was probably one of the best compliments I have ever received, by somebody saying, I just want to hear this in your voice. And of course, I will continue to support the Emily Jo Cooper Fund, as well as being there for the Cooper Strong 5K. If I get to be in town, you know I'm going to be there to run. I've won a couple of medals the last 2 years. I got to see if I can keep that going, right? And if I'm not, wherever I am, you know I'm still going to support it. I'll go run my 5K wherever I happen to be, but you know I'm still going to be there for that last Saturday in May, that Saturday morning, running the Cooper Strong. And again, to the softball team, thank you to so many players, coaches, and staff for always treating me like family, and all the support over the years. And it's been great getting to know a lot of the alum that I didn't work with, which granted actually wasn't that many because the team had only been in existence for 9 years before I started working with the team. So not a whole lot of alum that I'm not familiar with, but it's been an absolute joy getting to know all of you. And thank you again for all the support, listening to my broadcasts and everything. Really, really appreciate it. To all of the MUSB fans, thank you for your support over the years. I'm glad that you enjoyed the broadcast, especially the Facebook Live games that I could bring to you when we were on the road at those neutral site tournaments. It's been great to hear from you. I'm glad that Look Up and Say Goodbye became something that you all got behind and really enjoyed. A major, enormous special thank you to Dot Hicks. You are an amazing woman, an amazing person, and I am so thankful that I not only got to meet you, but that I got to know you over these years as well. And thank you so much for your support over the years. That really, really meant a lot to me. And of course, now that I'm leaving, you all know that I will miss getting to call Marshall softball every spring. But in my time, I have seen so much. I have been there for legendary moments, records chased, records broken, wins and losses. I mean, even in the losses, there were still a lot of great times. Championships, a national championship, All-Americans, and also the first senior class award winner in school history, Allie Harrell. Congrats, by the way, with that. And rings, definitely have these memories to bring back with me. I know you probably won't be able to see it too well from where you are, but the 2005 MAC regular season championship ring there with softball, I have that. The 2013 championship ring, this is the one that actually means the most to me, because getting to be there when softball finally got to win that conference championship and get the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, watching you all go crazy on that field after beating Houston was an amazing experience and one that I will never forget. So again, the 2013 championship ring. Another one right here, 2017, the Conference USA regular season championship. Again, softball, we got to celebrate that one right here at Dot Hicks Field as well. And then a couple of rings from our soccer team. Got the first one from 2019. This was from winning the Conference USA double championship, regular season and the tournament, and then going on to the NCAA tournament for the first time. And then of course this one, this enormous ring right here from the national championship. Try and pull that just a little bit closer if you possibly can, if you can see it. But the national championship win from men's soccer. Again, Coach Grassi, thank you very much And Jeff O'Malley as well. Thank you very much for putting me on the list to receive one of these rings. This really, really means a lot. And I will always have those with me to cherish as well. And, I've chronicled a lot of that stuff, the records broken and, championships and legendary moments and things, at least with softball, through highlight videos. And I hope everyone has enjoyed the videos. I started making the end of the year highlight video back in 2007. Yeah, I know, again, seems like ages ago, right? But I hope you all enjoyed them. It took a lot of hours to make, and sometimes I could get pretty delirious. If you ever saw me on senior day, a lot of times those weekends, my mind was pretty much loopy and gone, but I still enjoyed it, enjoyed every second of it, and I hope you all did too. And with that, I have one final highlight video following me here that I hope you're going to enjoy. It's a collection of a lot of these favorite moments, and apologies to my other sports, as it's all going to be softball, but those are the ones that I have video of. Again, my apologies to my other sports for that. But again, don't think that I don't have amazing memories from each one of those teams. Men's golf, getting to see the team win the Marshall Home Tournament this past season for the first time since 1977, and getting to see what that meant to Coach Grobe, as well as former head coach Joe Fagans, who the tournament is named after. That was very special to get to see that. And then to see Tyler Jones score his round of 62 this last spring. Absolutely incredible. 10 under, didn't bogey a single hole. I'd consider myself lucky if I got a 62 in the first 9 holes, let alone over 18. But women's golf, Brooke, you and your players bringing home some hardware. Those were some great things to write about. Always so much fun to be able to sit there and watch the live scoring and just see, your players doing so well with that. Volleyball, some big comebacks over the years, some great wins. Sierra DeBell getting 32 kills against Morehead State. Sydney Lostimo with over 60 assists against Xavier. Sarah Shank with 40 digs, a team record in her very first game at Libero. Amber Weber chasing digs records while she was here. Blocks from Destiny Leone. So much fun. Women's basketball, getting to see Shayna Gore score 2,000 points was amazing. Getting to watch Kadeja Brooks, who will always be one of my favorite players across any sport that I have worked with. She did a lot of the dirty work in basketball. Kadeja, so much fun watching you. And I remember a game way back when we were playing Sam Houston State, all the way down there in Texas, and your job for the game was to stick to a rebounder who was averaging double-digit boards a game, and you held her to 3. You did your job that day. I will always remember that game. That was a lot of fun to watch. And also, too, getting to see Savannah Wheeler light up the Las Vegas night this past December with 40 points, Marshall's first 40-point game since 1999. That was a lot of fun to watch. Men's soccer, of course, I kind of already talked about it with a couple of rings, the back-to-back CUSA championships, the national championship run, which was so amazing, and seeing so many people talk about this program, talk about this school. So many great players, games, exciting moments, and I gotta tell you, you guys figure out how to come up with some really good goal celebrations. I'm gonna keep my eye on those, because you guys always come up with some fun ones. A lot of fun to watch. And of course, that win over WVU right here, not right here obviously, but over there at Hoops Family Field in the NCAA tournament in 2019, that was a lot of fun to watch as well. And one final thank you to WMUL, where I started as a student broadcaster all the way back in the fall of 2000. Worked with a lot of great people over the years. Thank you for letting me get started. Thank you for allowing me to continue to roll on and call these games for your station while I've been on the road with softball and women's basketball, whether it's just early games, postseason tournaments. Thank you all. So many great engineers over the years. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to continue to stay in practice, I guess, and continue broadcasting and continuing to grow. And, with all of that, again, so many great memories. Bob Seger from his song Traveling Man, just to take a line from that song, those are the memories that make me a wealthy soul. Sorry, I had to kind of sing that too. And in closing, finally, I promise, and in closing, before we get to the highlights, collection of favorite moments, to paraphrase the end of Bob St. Clair's speech when he was being inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in the early 90s. I just want to say thank you very much for allowing my time with Marshall Athletics to be so memorable. Thank you.